Good to start?
Yep,
I still have a minute.
I also did, but I didn't want to miss it.
Okay, close enough. I'll call the Tremont Planning Board meeting of December 12th to order at 6 p.m. Roll call. We have Lawson Wolfson, Brett Witham, Beth Gott, Ben, not Benjamin, Harper, and myself, Mark Good. Adjustment adoption of agenda. The Tomby from Climate to Thrive apparently has been exposed to COVID and will not be here tonight, so I'll take a motion to table that right now.
I so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second to table the consultant from Climate to Thrive, talking to us about solar power. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
just as a point of discussion, I just wanted to be upright or whatever. I met with Tanvi, I think 10 days ago. She reached out in my role as a former staff member at Climate Thrive and a current planning board member to talk about the solar ordinance. And I encouraged her to come help us figure this out. And I just wanted the planning board to know that I met with her and talked with her a little bit about.
But she had reached out to the town before that, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's her job.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But
Anything
I
else?
think tabling makes a lot of sense, and
Well, we have to table it. She's not here, so she's not gonna
we
tell
can
us
talk about
anything.
solar without her, but I think that it makes sense to wait.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. And I think instead of having Derek sit around while we discuss all these other things, though I'm sure he'd be excited to listen in, why don't we move the Bass Harbor Marine thing as first item on new business? And I'll take a motion to that if
Also
everybody.
moved. Second.
Okay, motion and second on the table to move Bass Harbor Marine completeness for site plan review to the first item on new business. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, great. You're welcome, Derek.
Thank you.
Minutes of November 14th. Look fine to me. Anybody see anything?
I make a motion we approve them as presented.
Second.
Motion and second on the table to approve the minutes of November 14th. Any discussion? You guys want to look at them quickly, or you all set?
I did, yeah, no, they're good.
I got thrown because we said our meeting was 28th, that's the one that got canceled, so.
Yeah, that got canceled, yeah. But you're okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, 5-0. Okay, proposed land use ordinance changes in solar power. We have some new proposed changes for minor site plan and major site plan, which I think is something that we've been encouraged to do or adopt for quite a while. I think it's a good idea. I mean, you folks have a chance to look this over. Is this something that maybe we want to table until our next meeting?
I think it would be good to take some time to look it over.
I would agree with that.
Can you maybe just quickly explain what the thinking is behind this, or?
We've actually gone through and fixed some of the definitions that you didn't like, and we've done some more research into finding things that may be more compatible with our town. So you'll find new definitions, so it may be a good idea if you were to review them before we
Yeah.
talk about
I did have a quick question. I saw the new definitions of the solar energy system, that sort of thing. Where did this come from? The ISES can be up to 50 acres of surface area, with no limit on the rated nameplate capacity, and the other one had something similar to that. Where did all that language come from?
Several different towns' ordinances, but we adjusted the acreage or wattage to try to make it smaller, which would maybe go along with our smaller towns. We looked between, Ellsworth and, I don't remember the other town, I have it upstairs, I apologize, I can get back to you on that.
Yeah, I have no clue about that. I mean, it's something that maybe,
And have you shared this with Tomby?
No, I only spoke, well, I only emailed with her today when she told me that she wasn't gonna be able to make it.
Because that would be one of my questions, would be,
So I started working on this before I was
Yeah.
told she was gonna come speak.
Sure.
So I just included it just in case.
Yep.
And then if you, whatever you guys would prefer there.
what's the board's pleasure on these things?
Where are
You
we
want
in
to
the
discuss
agenda?
now, or do you want
I thought we moved
I
the
thought we moved Derek first.
Derek first.
to, no, to new business. This is under old business in the
Oh,
agenda, so
all right,
that's
all right.
why.
continuing the conversation we started
Yeah,
a month
yeah.
ago.
All right.
I make a motion that we table it until next month's, the next meeting.
I can wait for discussion. I guess I'll second that, and then.
Okay,
discussion.
motion and second to table on the table to table the proposed land use ordinance, discussion of the proposed land use ordinance changes / solar power until our next meeting.
And my point of discussion, maybe it's the right time to ask Katie, our CEO, to share these proposed definitions with our consultant, our solar consultant, to help, so that she can help us put this in context. And is residential, commercial, and industrial the right categories, or are there other categories we should be thinking of?
I'll absolutely do that. I will email her.
Great.
Any other discussion? We okay with that, board? Do you think that's a
Yeah.
wise move?
Yeah, second, anybody second that?
Yeah.
I second it, we're
yeah.
discussing, I guess the other question, and maybe this will become clear when I look at the minor use site development plan, do we need more background on that?
Well, there are some projects that shouldn't require as much.
Let's take, for example, the lobster place,
Archie's?
Archie's. Okay, remember, we had to go through site plan review on that.
Yep.
Because all they were doing was adding that awning, which
Right.
became a structure.
Yep.
And it seemed like that was unnecessary. So basically, projects like that, if you read through this, would not have to go through the major site plan review. And basically, I think it's CEO approval, basically. Yeah.
Oh, interesting, okay, that, and I assume that clarifies, so somewhere in here it explains what minor approval looks like, what that process is.
It should be all
Right.
throughout. I didn't include that because I didn't know if you guys would be okay with the idea in the beginning. John and I talked about several different ways to be able to go through this. If we were to potentially, if it was minor and you all agreed, we could potentially take care of that through just CEO permitting, or we could have essentially everything set and ready where we've gone through, this is not applicable, this is not applicable, you still go through and approve.
Right,
But
right.
basically have it a little bit more.
Yeah.
They don't need this for this application, and maybe even have a separate set of qualifications for them.
So then I think, since we're talking about whether or not we should table it, I think we should table it, and I guess my request would be for the CEO to include in our memo for next month, a sort of narrative, a paragraph describing what the minor use site plan, basically just what we're just starting to explain, but instead of explaining to it now, like, give that to us ahead of time for our next meeting.
It's pretty self-explanatory if you look at the, the proposed changes here, but you obviously, it's obvious to me
Okay.
that we need to read through these and look at that, but yeah, that's a good idea, Katie.
Absolutely.
I have no objection to you doing something like that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's obvious that we need to take a longer look at that. So, okay, motion and second on the table to table the proposed land use ordinance changes in solar power, right? Okay, All in favor? 5-0. Thank you, folks. Okay. Now, we move to Derek. Bass Harbor Marine, completeness for site plan review. Derek, you want to briefly explain what's happening here?
Sure. Bass Harbor Marine is looking to remove the existing building on the shore of their property. If you all are familiar with the large old ice storage and boat workshop.
Basically ready to fall down, right?
Yeah, it's in really rough shape. So they'd like to remove that building, its existing stone piers, and then on the water side of it, there's also an old travel lift that Morris Yachts used. There's stone stacked piers that are in place, and part of them has fallen over into the water from the storm, and there's an existing stone breakwater just outside of that that's kind of shown on the site plan. But they'd like to use those stones to build a perimeter wall at the existing building perimeter wall. Instead of just piers, it'll be a solid wall that'll go all the way up to the existing dock elevation. And then backfill that with a slab that'll be the same elevation as everything adjacent to it. And then just to the north of it, they would like to improve and expand the existing boat ramp to 40 feet wide and have a much more accessible location to bring boats in and out of that area.
Okay, and this has gone by the Harbor Committee, and they're basically okay with that. They did direct the harbor master to send us a letter to that effect, a memo to that effect, but since we're without a harbor master now, once again.
Disappeared.
Jesse did write up.
Yeah, he did say that in there, so we do have the minutes from that meeting, so it should be okay. And I believe, Ben, aren't you on the Harbor Committee?
Yes,
Okay.
This also.
Were there any objections?
no.
There's a full requirement for the NRPA submerged lands report that's been submitted.
Army Corps doesn't have to get involved?
They're going to get included in it, but it's not within their jurisdiction, but they take a look at any full NRP on the shore, I believe. I actually met with Sean and
Mahaney, is it? So, yeah.
yes, and DEP on site prior to putting the NRPA together. So they walked the site with me and looked at it.
Anybody else have questions for Derek before we begin here? Hearing none, we'll move right along. Okay. Okay, remember, we don't have to have individual motions for this, just one at the end to say that the application is complete or not. So fully executed and signed copy of the application for site plan review. Got that? Hey, by the way, thank you very much for having a carefully prepared documents. That's some of the stuff we get with it.
You're welcome.
We okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, and evidence of payment of application, I see a receipt here.
Yep.
Okay, we've got that. One original and 9 copy of written materials plus 1 original and 9 sets of maps. And the maps or drawings must be at a scale sufficient to allow review of items listed under approval standards, no case greater than 1 inch equals 100 feet. Have you submitted those? Is there a large drawing for us?
No, but the ones that you have under section 4 are very legible, so I figured that was. So it said, must be scale sufficient to allow review, I just figured that was, I wasn't positive. I thought it covered, but if you would like a larger version, we can do that as well.
This brings up a point, actually, I was gonna address it a little later in our review here. It says something, but quite often when if we look at S1, sheet S1, under section 4, okay, that's our drawing, our site plan, if you will. It's not done by it's not a survey.
So I spoke with John about this, and I know you mentioned the contour lines. And all of this information that he based this map off of comes off of the GIS system, so all of those contours should be correct. I don't know as though we would need a survey in order to get the correct contours and such.
Okay, that's understandable. My point is, often we have a survey for this, okay? If you look at submission requirements, it does not require a survey. Okay, so really, I'm not questioning that this information's wrong, but we have no way of knowing that the lot lines are the length that they're purported to be on this plan. The question that I'm trying to raise is that something we want to address in changing the ordinance? Do we want to look at requiring a survey for these projects or not? He's okay now because we don't require it.
I think I wanna think about it more,
Okay.
but my initial impulse is yes, we should, I don't know if it's a required survey, but having a licensed professional, whether it be an engineer, a landscape architect, an architect, or a surveyor, seems like a way of verifying.
Right. You know, usually we get something that shows where the pins are and things like that.
That's right.
Obviously, it doesn't apply to this because we don't have it in the ordinance, but I think that's something we should consider if we're going to make some changes to the land use ordinances or the site plan review ordinance. And Katie, maybe you ought to put that on your list of things for our next meeting, if you don't mind, please.
Gotcha.
Okay. Got that out of the way. So we all set there? Did you get the 9 copies and everything for everything? Okay. We okay with that? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm okay with
Okay.
that, yeah.
Record owner's name, address, and phone number. Applicant's name, address, and phone number.
Yep.
Got that? Location of all required building setbacks, yards, and buffers. Section 4 on the site plan. See, there's really no way to gauge the setback here. I mean, maybe there is a scale. Where did you come up with this drawing?
I created it off from the tax maps and also the deeds. So I actually used the deeds references.
For the meets and bounds, the perimeter boundary lines.
Which is different than the tax map,
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably if you checked your neighbor's deeds, those also might be different.
I think the closest, the pin closest to where the work's being done is in the range of 70-ish, 80 feet
From what?
from the pin.
Did you actually go out and measure where these buildings are compared to the lot lines?
The existing buildings or the?
Yeah, existing buildings, yeah.
No.
What do you think, folks?
I'm thinking about didn't we talk about the Bass Harbor Wharf and there was the Bernard Wharf and Thurston's, which wanted to extend their dock and it was gonna conflict with,
Right?
were you the applicant for that?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess I'm looking at this wharf or ramp. And I guess I don't have enough information on this drawing to have any clue if it's a problem or not a problem. And so I sort of assume that it's not a problem, but wonder if maybe we might wanna ask for property lines and the offsets to actually be, the setbacks to be illustrated.
So the only, my understanding with the commercial fisheries maritime, there isn't a setback for that pier structure.
You can go right to the property line.
And then until you come into submerged lands setback rules, and then I think it's 20 feet
From the property line?
from the riparian line, which is an extension of the property line.
Right, okay.
So that it can change angles based on your frontage. Like at Thurston's, when they did the drawer lines, they actually go like this instead of straight out. And it depends on the opposite points of the property, and then you draw a line between them, and then it bisects it equally, so you each get the same angle off from that one pin.
Alright, that seems rational.
Yeah, there's three methods
And you're able to figure
to
it out.
establish
Yeah.
the riparian
Cool.
line, and
Okay.
that's the one that holds up in court.
Okay, so then I guess what I would like to see is the riparian line, the relationship between the wider, the expansion of the ramp, because that's the sort of construction project. I wanna make sure that that is inside the setback from the riparian line.
It's well inside of any riparian.
Okay. I think that, let's sort of maybe earmark this, but my guess is that I would say that this would be like, complete with contingency or whatever, like, ask for that to be illustrated, so that when we approve it, we can say, great, for
Ask for the riparian line?
landlubbers like me who can't look at this and like, see where the riparian line
The
is.
backup to that is the submerged lands is going to do that side of the review process. So it's all contingent upon the.
Okay, I can also imagine us approving it subject to the,
And I assume you
Defer
would
that.
based on submerged lands and DEP.
and that probably makes even more sense. Let submerged lands, so somebody who's an expert in that field,
Right.
not us, review that drawing.
So the question before us right now is, are we set with the location of all required building setbacks, yards, and buffers? Is that a yes?
Yes.
I mean, I don't see that this is anywhere near a property line. Not even,
Correct.
not even close.
Yeah.
And, right, and all the buildings that are close to property lines aren't being changed.
That's
So
right.
They're existing and not part of the change, so that seems like the relevant. Yeah.
There is, under existing conditions in the site plan review ordinance, the bearings and length of all property lines of the property to be developed and the source of this information. What? The planning board may waive this requirement of a boundary survey when sufficient information is available to establish on the ground all property boundaries. Do we have that? I don't know. That's why I like a survey. You must have had a survey done at some point there.
Not that they can pull up.
Who are you reading from, Mark?
Page 9 of site plan review ordinance, at the bottom of the page, under existing conditions, 3B.
Yeah, the bearing in mind. Well, there's a scale. And there's a compass, and there's a source of the information. So what do you think's missing?
I thought you were the one that said there's not enough to establish the property lines. What's that?
No,
Awesome.
Brett said we're not
I don't-
close to the property line.
I don't see.
It doesn't matter,
It's
it's like
like
irrelevant.
when you're talking about the buffer setbacks, it's nowhere near anywhere, it's not even close to a property line.
Then we're okay with this.
Yes,
That's right.
That's what Brett's saying.
Okay, okay. I misunderstood you then, I'm sorry. Okay. I thought you were questioning that.
No,
Okay,
no.
okay. Sorry. Names and addresses of all property owners within 500 feet of any and all property boundaries.
That is behind the receipt.
Yep.
Yes, I saw that.
And also included in Derek's packet,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw, that's where I saw in the packet, yeah.
well formatted and laid out. That's above and beyond.
Sketch map showing general location of the site within the town based on tax map. We have the tax map itself, right?
Yep.
So we're okay there. Boundaries of all contiguous property under total or partial control of the owner or applicant regardless of whether all or part is being developed. We're okay there? Site plan S1, right?
Yeah.
Tax map and lot number of the parcel or parcels on which the project is located. It's part of the application.
It's also on the tax map as well.
Yep. And actually on the site plan here too. Yeah. Just the lot number, yeah, on map 3, yep. Copy of the deed to the property, an option to purchase the property, or other document to demonstrate right title or interest, section 3. Got a deed. We all set there?
Yep.
Okay, name, registration number, seal of the person who prepared the plan if applicable. Permitting agent Derek Lapointe. We did see that, Mr. Mayo has given him, the go-ahead to be his representative. Evidence of the applicant's technical and financial capability to carry out the project as proposed. We often get something from a bank, but in this case we don't have that. There is a description there somewhere.
With a letter, section 8 maybe?
It's 7, my apologies, I messed that up.
It's in 7?
Yes, sir.
We okay there, folks?
Yep.
Existing conditions, zoning classifications, commercial fisheries, maritime activity, shoreline shown on site plan. We know that, S1. Bearings and length of all property lines to be developed and source of this information. It's on the site plan.
The lengths are there, the
They
bearings.
are, but yeah,
The
there's,
bearings aren't, but I'm not feeling inclined to nitpick at that level. I guess I would suggest that the bearings are not germane to this application.
but you're okay with saying yes on this, right?
I am.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, hearing nothing, I'll move on. Location, size of any existing septic, well, culverts and drains, underground tanks. You see septics on here.
Is there fuel storage on site?
No, there was a tank down by the building, but there's no longer there.
It was above ground, the tank?
And the W is the well, I take it?
It is.
Okay.
Does
And
the stormwater-
SW is stormwater, right there, okay.
Does that just go straight into the ocean?
I believe that stormwater is, because you can see the contours coming down, there's a ditch kind of coming through there, it goes under the road, and then it takes its
goes along the road, you're saying?
It goes along the property line essentially and then under the road.
Okay. To the ocean.
Yeah.
That's a yes then,
Yep.
folks? Okay. Locations, names, and present width of any existing streets and rights-of-way within or adjacent to the proposed development. We see Granville Road, that's the only one, right? Down there, so we're okay there. Location, dimensions, and elevations of all existing buildings on the site. Got everything but elevations.
I assume
But-
the contours have given kind of the elevation at each building.
Close-ish. Does the, I feel like the existing buildings that aren't being changed, I'm not that worried about them, but the fact that we're putting a new building in, do we need to know, I guess this is still under existing conditions, so
There's elevations for the
is that in that section,
new building has,
the 32 foot? Is that 32 feet tall?
it is.
Okay. And the new slab is a 14.5.
On S3 has, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the important information's there, I don't really care
Yep.
about the existing buildings that
Yep.
are part of the, yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yep.
Location, dimensions of existing driveways, parking and loading areas, walkways, side walks on or immediately adjacent to the site. See a bunch of parking areas. And Granville Road goes in there,
And some dimensions of that, of those parking areas.
you know,
Parking 20 by 70, 50 by 84.
are we okay there?
Yep.
Okay. Location of intersecting roads and driveways within 200 feet of the site. I think we're okay there because it's only still Granville Road, right? It's the only thing there. Location of open drainage courses, wetlands, stone walls, graveyards, fences, stand of trees, and other important features. We okay?
Yeah.
Direction of existing surface water drainage across the site. Is that what these little arrows are?
I think they look like arrows, those are actually intended to be trees.
They're actually what?
Trees.
Those are
The
trees.
dark spots are trees.
Yep.
Okay. So we have no arrows indicating which way the water flows across the site.
It's all going down to the ocean.
But we all know that from the contour lines, it's just gonna go down to the ocean like you say.
I think the contour lines and
It
stormwater
always
drain-
flows downhill.
Yeah.
I think we've got it.
We okay then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll draw some arrows on mine.
Yeah, you just, it all goes that way.
For the future, Terry.
Okay.
How'd you get involved in this project anyway?
Yes, the rumor spread that I am able to do DEP permits, so.
Okay. I won't spread the rumor any further.
No, you're welcome to, I'm up for hire.
Okay. Location, front view, dimensions, and lighting of existing signs. Oh, section 8.
Yep, that's there.
Okay.
I guess the signs don't have dimensions, but I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, it's just a sign on a building, right, if I recall
It's
from
gonna
what
be
it
coming
was
down, I
earlier.
assume.
Yeah.
You're not gonna put up any new signs. Okay. Location, dimensions of any easements and copies of existing covenants and deed restrictions. Yeah, the deed, right?
Do you don't need anything attached to it?
We okay there?
Yep.
okay? Indication of water supply sufficient in quantity and quality for both normal use and fire protection. Section
The ocean.
4. That's 1. It just shows the well, okay? What do you think, folks?
Yep.
Okay. Boundaries of all contiguous property under total or partial control of the owner or applicant, regardless of whether all or part is being developed.
So where are you?
Where are you?
Where'd you go?
Oh, no, go back, yeah, I always do that.
7.4,
Sorry,
right?
Yeah, I turned it, yeah,
Okay.
sorry, thank you. Estimated demand for water supply and sewage disposal, together with the location, dimensions of all water supply and wastewater disposal, evidence of their adequacy for the proposed use, including soils test, pit data, if on-site sewage disposal is proposed. 500 gallons per day for boat washing.
So I didn't really know what to include in this section because there's no water supply or sewage required for this building. It's just mostly maintenance and storage. I included what might be a maximum of water usage, but some of that is also existing because they are already washing boats and stuff. So I put a number down thinking 10 boats a day, 50 gallons would be a good guess for what might be maximum future usage.
Is that information in the application?
What's that?
Did you put that in the application, or is that just, like, where did the 500 gallons a day
I just wrote that in as
in,
far
on here on the checklist?
on the checklist, I guess.
Okay.
I guess you don't actually have a copy of that in the application, that number.
Right, that's what I'm just clarifying. I think it's okay, but we just need to make sure that.
Does the existing, so what's going on here? It looks to me like you've got a 40 by 68 building there now. It's probably fallen down or something.
It's not of any use.
Yeah, and so you're gonna go to 28 by 28. Does the current building have water to it?
No.
Yeah. And there's no plan to put water to the new one? Yeah. I mean, some of our stuff's a little bit of a square peg in a round hole.
Sure.
We'll overlay it on the projects. It doesn't, yeah, I would almost say some of the stuff is not applicable.
Not applicable. So the fact that we don't have it doesn't.
Right. We're gonna force them to put water down there? I mean, I don't know why we would. If it burns, it's gonna fall into the ocean, I guess, right?
So we're okay there. Direction of proposed surface water drainage across the site and from the site with assessments on impact on downstream properties. Erosion control, section 6.
We're not actually changing the site drainage.
Right.
Also, but I did include a erosion control plan, which I have to provide to DEP.
Rainfall greater than ½ inch. I think we got more than that the other day, right? We all set there?
Yep.
It looks good to me.
Yep.
Okay, where am I? Okay, provisions for handling solid waste, including hazardous and special waste, location of proposed screening of any on-site collection or storage facilities.
You have dumpsters on the site there?
They do.
Yeah. They come pick them up every week or something like that, or, yeah.
And there was talk about, that's like dirt construction, that's how debris will be removed.
Okay.
It's been marked not applicable here, but I think it should be a yes. You guys agree?
Yep.
Sure. I'm sure there are dumpsters, I'm
Is-
sure there's trash stuff here somewhere, dumpsters I have on site.
The fact that there's a narrative in here that talks
Is there?
about
I-
using
okay.
dumpsters.
Having worked at some boatyards, I would say yes,
Think
there's
so,
trash
yeah.
that gets generated. Location, dimensions, and materials to be used in the construction of proposed driveways, parking, and loading areas and walkways, any changes in traffic flow onto or off-site. Yeah, everything's staying the same.
Well, except for a new overhang. Is that not? That's
Well,
different
would
from a
that be,
driveway, I guess?
it's not a driveway, it's not a parking area, would you call it a loading area or a walkway?
Here, load the boat up, I guess, but. I think it's fine, but,
Not applicable?
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Proposed landscaping and buffering, none proposed, parking and buffer existing.
But I would say that this is actually a yes, like, it is included in the drawing,
What, the landscape and buffering?
there's enough information here to know,
That's proposed.
for what is proposed, and so, it's not that it's not, the fact that it's none is proposed doesn't make it not applicable, makes it,
So that's a yes.
it's a yes. It
Okay.
is included. in
Anybody disagree with that?
Part of,
Okay.
it is complete.
Location, dimensions, and ground floor elevations of all proposed buildings or building expansion proposed on the site.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're okay there? Location, front view, materials, and dimensions of proposed signs together with a method for securing the sign.
Not applicable.
No new signs are proposed. And location and type of exterior lighting. So there's no new lighting. Not applicable? Okay. Location of all utilities, including fire protection, overhead power shown on site plan and well. Site plan, where's that under again?
Section 4.
4, S1.
Four.
Derek, is that the power pole,
Yeah, I'm sorry about how small.
super small there?
It is,
Okay.
there's one next to the end of Granville, and then there's one adjacent to the project site near the shore. Which has already been disconnected.
Oh, that's the little,
Power pole, okay.
okay. Oh, I see it now, yeah.
And you'll go overhead from the building to the pole. Yep, that's.
Okay, we're okay there, huh?
Yep.
General description of the proposed use or activity, we do see that as part of the application. Estimate of the peak hour and daily traffic to be generated by the project, part of the application, section 1, project description. You okay there?
Mhm.
Not gonna bring in tour buses or anything, okay. Stormwater calculations, erosion, sedimentation control measures, water quality and or phosphorus export management provisions. If the project requires a stormwater permit from the DEP, or if the planning board determines that such information is necessary based upon the scale of the project or the existing conditions in the vicinity of the project. So the application has been, to National Resources Protection Agency, has been submitted. And when did you send that in?
Yesterday.
Okay. When do you expect to hear back from?
For approval, several months.
We okay there, folks?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. Approval block, none on plan, add the final. You know what we're talking about? What that means?
What, say? I'm sorry.
Approval block,
Yep. For-
usually
Oh,
on,
approval block on the plan?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, on the plan itself, because we'll have to sign it at some point. So that's the only thing, so, you have to add that on the big plans.
Okay. And are you implying, Mark, that you're expecting a larger scale plan?
I thought he said he had them. No, no?
I provided 9 copies. I thought that was the question. Not a large scale plan.
What's he have to file with the,
The DEP only requires this size.
The largest are not actually required.
well, space must be provided on the plan drawing for the signatures of the planning board and date together the following words: approved town of Tremont Planning Board.
Yeah, so assuming you can squeeze that.
Yeah, yeah, if you can squeeze that in, that's why, it'd be nice to have a bigger, a larger plan to do it on.
I can have a larger plan.
Or you could turn S1 into a, you know, legal or letters, or tabloid or letters, tabloid or legal.
Yeah, 11 by 17,
11 by 17.
those work well. For designers.
Still 3-hole punch them.
So, I'll take a motion to deem the application complete, contingent upon the addition of an approval block or in the final plan.
I so move.
During the discussion, we just circle back to something
Oh,
you mentioned
okay.
about submerged land, and I realized I wrote that down, but I actually don't know what that means. When you said, like, you need submerged land approval,
I'm sorry, the Bureau of Submerged Lands, it's a state agency that controls all of the intertidal, so
and is that part of the NRPA
it's not.
permit? It's another, it's an
They-
additional permit?
It is.
Okay.
So they lease the space from the low tide area. So you have to pay a lease every year to use that area.
You're kidding.
That's interesting.
So every float you see is somebody paying a lease on it to submerge.
Well, where does the money go?
The Bureau, trying to think, it's a larger department. I think a lot of it ends up in some of the grants that end up going to, I know solar panels is the grant that agency does. It's a division that,
Interesting.
I wish I could tell you what the Bureau is,
Yeah.
that submerged lands falls under.
State or federal? State?
State.
Maybe if your float was out 3 miles, it'd be federal, but that'd be a different kind of infrastructure. It'd be a lot bigger.
I think they still, like the oyster farms, those are a lease, so it's really far offshore that.
Yeah.
3 miles, I guess. Then it was federal.
Yeah.
So the oyster farms have to lease from this outfit too?
The tax. Well, it's a fair way to do it. You gotta, I mean, they're using the resource, you gotta figure, someone's gotta monitor
Someone's
it.
gotta regulate
Yeah,
something
yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure that.
Yeah, it's like a fishing license.
Sure, yeah. All right,
Okay, any more
I'm done.
discussion there or questions? Okay, we have a motion that, made by Ben to find the application complete contingent upon an approval block on the final plan. We didn't have a second.
Oh, sorry. Second.
Okay, now we do. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, great. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Good work.
Okay, where's my agenda? Okay. We decided to table the site plan ordinance changes, right? So that's-
Though I do have some comments.
Okay. Go right ahead.
So I was just looking at the definitions of solar, I'll say. You've got basically CSIS, ISIS, and ARSIS, right? You've got commercial, residential, industrial.
And SBGS.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, I see. I'm sorry. Yep.
And actually, the thing, so one little nit, not, it's just a nit, the acronym under industrial, solar energy, just needs to be an I instead of the C, just a typo.
Oh, yeah, good point.
And then to me, and I think I understand, I live in definitions, it's my life.
What?
It's a true story. It's a true story. I was just reading an agreement with 3 pages of definitions, so it's my life. And I always make sure that they all tie. You know, that you're consistent in how you use words and they tie together. And I suspect that the SPGS, the solar power generating system, references residential solar collector, which is capitalized, which is not one of our definitions. And then you've got solar collector, which is not used in the definitions of ARCIS, ISIS, and CESIS. So I suspect that they came from different towns or different ordinances, and there's just a lack of right now, we'll fix it, I think, congruency, between those definitions, because I think, I don't see, like I would expect to see solar power generating system, which is kind of a general definition of what these things are, within the definition of CESIS, ISIS, or ARCIS, and maybe even solar collector is within, the definition of solar power generating system, because it's like a thing within that. And so it just needs to, we definitely should share it with whoever that person is at.
Yep.
So the reason I left those in
Yeah.
there is because you guys had already talked about them previously.
Yep.
But you didn't like having the residential solar collector, you wanted to try to change it to non-commercial, do you remember that?
Yep.
So I wanted to still have those potentially on the table for you, but also I tried to find better definitions for what could be uses of residential solar.
Yeah, I think we can all tie it together, right? And in part, I pointed this out so that we could see.
That's helpful, yeah.
I like the 3 buckets, I guess. I think so far, are the residential, which is kind of like, on your house, or at least I like it as a starting point for discussion. And then the commercial, which is kind of a business but has it on site.
Yeah, like if Hanson's wanted to put
Right,
it on their.
right, and then industrial is like a generator.
Yeah,
Putting it back.
yeah.
Those make sense to me, other than with the residential, I guess there is the opportunity maybe with how it's set up to send it over to your grandma across
Right,
town or
yep.
something. We'll have to think about that. But I was missing, and I just need to think about it. I don't see the tie between those 3 buckets and then the two definitions at the end, the solar collector and solar power generating. I think they're easy fixes. I think it's just a matter of tying them together with common terms, and that's all I have.
No,
No,
those
I
are
need
good
to know
points.
these
and-
things, because I still am trying to
Nah.
grasp exactly what I'm
Well, me
saying.
too, believe me.
Okay,
That's it.
so we can move on to discussion of short-term rental fees, right? First of all, as you all know, it's selectmen that set the fees. When they approved the other night,
approved?
sending our short-term rental ordinance onto.
I can't believe that's going to vote.
Well,
What happened?
it was
I thought they
it was
poo-pooed
kind of
it.
iffy there for a while, I
I thought they
think.
got
But
cracked.
and by the way, they thank the whole board for the work we did on that. And
I was surprised to read that in the paper, actually.
well,
But
I attended the meeting, and for a while there, I was questioning whether it was going to get there. But there were a couple of things. I don't want to go into detail. Anyway, it is on the warrant, but they said, oh, gee, would you guys in the planning board mind just giving us a ballpark of what you think should be a fee for this application? Or
somewhere between 5 and 500.
Well, basically that's it. They set the fees, that sort of thing. For example, here, Right now, it's $40 for a marriage license, okay? It's $100 for an annual mooring fee. Liquor special amusement permit's $105, but that also requires notice in the paper, so you're paying for that, so which wouldn't happen here. Building permits are residential, 25 cents a square foot with a minimum of $25. Home occupation, $30. A sign, $25. So we've talked about making, we want people to comply and not making the fees so high that, they're gonna try to get around it, so.
What's the town gonna do with the fees?
Yeah, that's, what do we need it for? Is there gonna be a person, like what?
Well, I mean, there are some administrative costs involved, and somebody has to process the application, that sort of thing. And chances are the fee is not gonna cover all of that.
Is there gonna be an inspection?
No, there's not gonna be an actual inspection unless there are complaints, I guess, is what it
So-
comes
So
down
that would
to.
need to be covered too, because that would be a,
How many applications do you
Okay.
think we'll get?
Okay, let's say I have
We've no
a
idea.
house that I rent, so I come to the town office and I have to fill out an application
Yep,
so I tell them exactly where it is and
Yeah.
everything? Okay.
yeah.
So that's on
And,
file.
$50 a unit.
Checklists,
All right,
and
let's
you've
go.
done this or that,
Yeah.
Um,
How much did you say? 50?
$50 a unit.
I thought this whole thing was to gather information.
It was free, I know, was it free the first year? Did we say we weren't gonna charge anything?
No, we didn't say that. They want, the selectmen ask us to set a ballpark fee, so.
$50, I agree
no,
with.
But even a range, we could say 25
To
to
$50.
100 and send it to them. And
I'd
they
say-
can do with it whatever they want. They set the fees, not us.
I would say free. Don't charge anything.
No, I don't agree with that. We gotta charge something.
I thought we talked about not charging the one, just to gather data.
Well, I thought at that meeting
But
that they
maybe-
had,
maybe I
that
missed
they
that.
weren't gonna do any of this, that the
Yeah.
voters were against it.
I don't know, let's see, what was the home occupation? 30?
$30.
Yeah. And then the liquor license was like 100?
Yeah.
But that includes a notice in the paper.
Yeah.
For the public hearing.
Oh,
Marriage license, $40.
Okay, but if you get divorced, you get the $40 back?
Believe me, you pay a lot more.
You could even do something like, $50 for the first unit and 25 for successive, I don't know, to try
Or you
to.
could do the other way, you could say 25 for your first unit and
Then
$100.
higher. I know, yeah, well,
Well, second,
yeah.
everybody's gonna.
Frankly, I don't think it should be our problem, but they ask us to do this, so.
Well, I would say something between, I don't know, 50 sounds right. I guess I'd say 30 and 70, I don't know.
Between 30 and 75.
30 and 75.
Are they gonna put that in the ordinance that's gonna go to the voters?
Yes.
I don't know.
I believe so.
They want the voters to have a sample form, which you guys are supposed to design.
No, not exactly. We're supposed to give input. We're supposed to have Noel develop something. We don't have a copy of it, so nothing we can do with that now.
They want a sample form from somebody, and they wanted fees. And then they want to put all of this into the ordinance, so the voters have as much information as possible.
I do think you've got to make clear it's like per unit, right? Because I think there, or something,
Yeah,
right?
per unit.
It's
It has
like
to be per unit.
Like, I don't even know what
Yeah.
that means, like, because people have, yeah, I guess per unit. I don't know. It's like, what, not per bedroom, like, you're right.
No,
I mean,
not
like,
per
it's not-
bedroom, no, per
But
unit.
it's gotta be, someone could have, that means that someone with a huge house that's getting $5,000 a week is paying the same as someone who's renting a room,
Which I think at this point,
is what
to
it
Ben's
is.
point, we're just trying to gather data.
Yeah.
We're not trying to sculpt the landscape or incentivize a certain type of rental or anything that's, or not.
So $50?
30 to $50.
Sure.
I like 30 to
Per
75,
rental,
actually.
per rental.
But they're gonna set it. They'll do
Yeah.
whatever they want. They just want a recommendation of, a range is what they said.
Sure, we'll spitball it.
Yeah, okay, so what?
30 to, I think it's 30
30 to 75, okay,
Yeah, per-
motion,
per
I'll take a
rental, per
motion
rental.
I'll take a motion for that.
So moved.
Okay, did I hear a second?
$30 to $75 per rental.
Or I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to recommend to selectmen that they set a fee for the short-term rental ordinance registration somewhere between $30 and $75 per unit.
They're gonna hate us for that.
No, hey.
Sure.
Any just further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All opposed? That Ben is against it, I knew. Okay, so 4-1. Okay. Good, we got that over with. Okay, under other, I guess there's a new committee that's been formed for the public safety building, the proposed public safety building, new one, which is going to be built probably down here on the road to the dump and that sort of thing.
Where the ice rink used to be?
Yeah, where the ice rink used to be, I think is probably the location, was my understanding anyway. Although I don't know whether that's set in
It's actually
stone.
been decided where it's gonna be.
Yeah, maybe it hasn't been
That's one of the
decided.
things.
But anyway, there's this new committee, okay? Selectmen apparently have asked that a planning board member be on that committee. And I understand that somebody mentioned that Ben would like to be on it. Ben basically was one of the founders of the fire department back when they still had a horse and buggy.
Not quite that.
Not quite that long, but also Ben has a lot of experience as a dispatcher and probably could have considerable input. I don't know if anybody else is interested. If not, I would take a motion to.
I will enthusiastically nominate Ben to serve in that.
Second.
Okay, motion and second on the table to nominate Ben or appoint Ben to be the planning board representative on, I don't know the public safety building committee, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
Okay, is that what it is?
I think that's right.
Okay, okay.
Wait. So what is this, what is it? What is this?
They're proposing to build a new public safety building. They'll have fire trucks and that sort of thing.
Okay.
They want somebody
Okay,
from
so
the
it's a
planning
new
board.
fire station.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, all right. No,
They
that's
want somebody in the planning board to be involved in the process and be on this new committee.
What's happening to the old one?
I don't know.
I'm hoping they sell it.
Short-term rental.
Short-term rental.
I barely know this.
It's gonna make my new garage,
It's gonna-
hopefully.
The old one is no longer large enough to reasonably
Yeah, hold everything.
contain
on
the
your
new
side.
engines.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but what's gonna happen to the
Sure,
building, I don't
I don't know
know.
what will happen.
I don't,
Okay,
yeah.
I was just curious as to why we're building a
I
new one.
I like the idea of a short-term rental,
It's gonna
though,
be
yeah.
my new garage.
With
We
Okay.
have to pay extra to
Okay.
get shorter engines to fit our building.
You, really?
Really, we do.
So it's cheaper probably for the town to build a new building instead of?
Have you been in that building?
I have been, I've had, yes, I've done CPR upstairs, yes. Okay, all right, I'm
Who
done
did you do it
discussing.
on?
That's
Okay.
when we had the dummy. and you
Oh,
did it,
okay.
and- Yeah.
Okay, motion and second on the table. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay. All opposed? Who's going to abstain there? Ben will abstain, yeah, good.
Oh, you're not gonna vote for
I'm
yourself?
not gonna vote for myself.
Okay.
If it was secret ballot, that's
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah. I just sometimes-
Thank you, Ben, for volunteering to do that. Okay, set date for next meeting. Take a motion for January 9th, 6 PM right here.
So move.
Second?
Motion second to table to set the date for the next meeting, January 9th, 2024. A whole new year right here at 6 o'clock at the Harvey Kelly Meeting Room in the town office. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay. And motion to adjourn at what, 7:04 PM.
So move.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn at 7:04. All in favor? Okay. Thank you, folks. And we need to turn that tape off.
Yeah, because I have a question.
Right now.
Right here.
Wait till the tape.
Couldn't fit in